Chapter 35, You Can Call Me for Anything. 1:30 in the afternoon. Hualin Hospital. After receiving a call, Xing Hang quickly found Fu Jingzhou in the top-floor conference room. Mr. Fu. Seeing him rush in, Fu Jingzhou raised an eyebrow. What's going on? Xing Hang said, General, Tang, the movie star, had an accident and is currently being sent to Hualin Hospital. Fu Jingzhou seemed impatient. Do you really need to report this kind of thing to me? Xing Hang. Seeing that Fu Jingzhou didn't leave, he continued, also, Miss Suruhi had an accident. She fell down the stairs unexpectedly and has multiple abrasions. She's also at Hualin Hospital. Fu Jingzhou's impatience grew. Is there anything else? Wiping the sweat off his forehead, Xing Hang hesitated before saying, Miss Suruhi specifically requested Dr. Su to handle her injuries for the next few days. Just as Xing Hang thought Fu Jingzhou would get angry, he didn't hear Fu Jingzhou's voice for a while. He inadvertently looked up and saw Fu Jingzhou sitting there, lost in thought. After a while, Fu Jingzhou asked, Has Lu left? It seems not yet. The nurses on duty haven't noticed Lu Xiao leaving. Hearing this, Fu Jingzhou tapped his phone screen a couple of times and said, Let Wan Ci take care of Suruhi's injuries. As Xing Hang was about to leave, he heard Fu Jingzhou say, Also, arrange for Tang and Suruhi to share a hospital room. Wait, hey. Xing Hang wondered if he misheard. Mr. Fu, did you say that Tang and Suruhi should be in the same room? Fu Jingzhou stood up, adjusted his shirt and tie, looked at Xing Hang, who was still standing there, and asked, Is there a problem? Xing Hang didn't dare to say there was. No, Mr. Fu. I'll arrange it immediately. At the same time. On the third floor, room 308. Inside the rest area. Sitting up, Su Wan Ci looked at the man, Lu, whose hands and feet were wrapped around her. She moved her slightly numb wrist and gently pushed him. Lu, it's 1:40. You should go back. The man nuzzled against her neck and then kissed her earlobe lightly. Su Wan Ci found herself ticklish and shrunk her neck, trying to evade him. But Lu used the opportunity to kiss her on the corner of her lips. Though his movements seemed gentle, his attack between their lips and teeth was assertive and uninhibited. He finally released her when Su Wan Ci's lungs were almost out of air. Gasping for air, Su Wan Ci pushed against his chest and sat up. Get up, it's almost 2 o'clock. Lu checked the time. 1:52. There were still 8 minutes until 2 o'clock. He obediently got up and didn't hold her back. After tidying up, Su Wan Ci opened the door of the rest area and was about to leave when she received a call from Director Li Minghui. After hanging up, she turned to Lu, I need to go back to work. You can go home. Lu raised an eyebrow, agreeing to her words. The building Su Wan Ci was in housed the emergency department. Next to it was the inpatient building where all the patient rooms were located. Su Wan Ci had just walked into the inpatient building when she encountered Director Li Minghui at the entrance. Li Minghui handed her Tang's medical record and said, Dr. Su, Tang had an accident 2 hours ago. He sustained injuries to multiple soft tissues and a mild concussion. I've given him initial treatment, but I'll need you to take care of him going forward. Su Wan Ci briefly looked through Tang's medical record and nodded, all right. Thinking of the mention of Suruhi in the phone call earlier, she asked, what happened to Suruhi? Li Minghui also seemed a bit at a loss. She seems to have fallen down the stairs. I have an urgent surgery to attend to. Suruhi's condition will also need your attention, Dr. Su. After giving Su Wan Ci the information about Ji Tang and Su Rui's location in the hospital, Li Minghui quickly left the inpatient building. On the 4th floor, as Su Wan Ci stepped out of the elevator, she bumped into Su Jinyi, who had just finished the admission procedure for Ji Tang. Su Jinyi leaned against the white wall, glancing at his phone's messages, occasionally tapping the screen to send a few texts. Perhaps sensing someone approaching, he put away his phone, looked up, and saw Su Wan Ci walking towards him with Ji Tang's medical record. A hint of emotion quickly passed through Su Jinyi's otherwise calm and indifferent eyes. He stood up straight, took a step forward, and blocked Su Wan Ci's way. "Are you Dr. Su?" His voice was pleasant, deep, and warm, with a subtle touch of gentleness. The perpetual sharp edge in his eyes was intentionally softened, not wanting to intimidate the young girl in front of him. Su Wan Ci halted her steps and looked at Su Jinyi. She was certain she hadn't seen Su Jinyi before, yet there was an indescribable feeling of familiarity. Su Wan Ci furrowed her brows slightly, pushing aside the unnamed emotion deep within her. "And you are?" Su Jinyi gestured towards the nearby hospital room. "Miss Ji got injured because of me. I hope Dr. Su can take care of her injuries." Su Wan Ci automatically classified him as Ji Tang's family member. She nodded. "That's my responsibility. Don't worry." Having said that, she was about to enter the hospital room after passing by him. Su Jinyi instinctively reached out and held her back. Su Wan Ci turned her gaze to him. Realizing his behavior might have been too forward, Su Jinyi quickly let go of her. Then, he took out a business card and handed it to Su Wan Ci. "This is my business card, Dr. Su. Feel free to give me a call if you need anything in the future." Su Wan Ci felt a bit baffled. At that moment, Su Jinyi's phone rang. He inserted the business card into her medical record and then walked away. Su Wan Ci picked up the business card, which only had a name and a phone number on it. Su Jinyi. Looking at the name Su Jinyi, a vague image flashed through Su Wan Ci's mind. However, before she could grasp it, the blurry scenes disappeared. Su Wan Ci didn't dwell on it. She casually tucked the business card into the medical record and proceeded to the hospital room. At the corner of the stairs, Ji Zihuan walked over with his phone. Su Jinyi had just finished the call. Leaning against the corner, Ji Zihuan looked at Su Jinyi with a gossipy expression. "Captain Su, who was that girl just now? This is the first time in all these years that I've seen you taking the initiative to strike up a conversation with a girl." Su Jinyi was one of the key elite agents trained in secrecy by the country. He entered the military at a young age, undergoing rigorous training, and facing life and death situations repeatedly in various exercises. This tough upbringing gradually made him colder. To put it bluntly, the description inhuman wasn't an exaggeration. In the military and the special forces, Su Jinyi's aloof and silent demeanor earned him both respect and awe from his comrades, as well as a sense of intimidation. Ji Zihuan, also coming from the special forces, had cooperated with Su Jinyi in numerous operations. They were not only silent comrades but also an unspoken partnership. Over the years, Ji Zihuan had developed a close relationship with Su Jinyi. Hence, seeing Su Jinyi, who had always been indifferent to women, voluntarily give his private contact to a stranger, Ji Zihuan felt a mix of surprise and curiosity. Of course, curiosity mostly won.